A change process when it comes to getting something that you need done with the troops that you have. It's going to take time. You start with one single foundational section. You enforce the standard onto them. It's going to be painful. Trust me, guys. After doing this for so many years, it is absolutely painful to get it done at first, but you have to set the foundational standard. Verbal operating instructions, they're not going to work. I know a lot of people would rather do that because it's cheap, it's easy, it's super simple, but it's not. So the biggest thing you have to do is get it down in writing, do your calculus of it, do your math, do your problems, check all the things that you never know what could come up. And then you're going to get tested with things that will come up that you weren't calculating for. That's where you do your little semi-trials. You get that going. Start with that foundation, and that is the most important thing you have to do is set that standard first. I mean, the buy-in you're going to get is going to be hard. It's going to be a tough sell. And how you're going to get that credibility is you have to follow through with it. You say, you work to this, you get this done, no more, no less, and you have to follow through. That's the most important thing. Following through by saying, you get this done, we're done. You're not doing anymore. Well, what are we going to do after that? And that's where I've always told the guys, well, let's work on some training. You all want training, right? You all want to be trained on stuff. Yeah, well now we have a unit we're going to bring in that can be used for next month, but it'll be due for trainings. There's some people who are weak on certain units and certain tasks to work on. And then it's the thing that we're at a base where it's basically a forward deployed location. You don't have time to get a training class done or sit down and coddle people. You don't have months. You have weeks. As soon as you get here, you hit the ground running. And that's not a terrible thing to ask of someone because they are signed off. They are qualified to do this job. They're not stupid. They need direction. Here's a list. Here's a tasking. Here's the action, the impact, and the result of this. And so, for example, the action. The action is we got to start this plan. The plan is we put all the ideas and we put that all into action, how we're going to do it, and we execute it. Let's start with our standard. What do we have to do? What's our priorities? Establish what is a priority, what is not necessarily a priority, and what is something you're willing to waver on and be a little, we can, we don't need to, but this is the burning fire. That's your action. The impact of doing this, by achieving the actions you have done, the impact will be, wow, we are above our levels for broken units. Holy cow. Then, the more action is there's less and less. And what is the result once you achieve all this action and the impact have all been incorporated? What you get from there is the result. And the result is, hey, what are you doing after lunch? Oh, I don't know, nothing. Sweet, see you tomorrow. Yes, you heard it right. That can be done in a maintenance section. That also can be true while doing an inspection section. Simply employing the same principles that you would do with maintenance, you do with inspection. Take the calculus. The people that you have, who's going to be on vacation, who's not here, who do you have available, and never let your troops be alone while working on a unit. Because there are going to be some who are just not quite good enough to work by themselves. Nothing against them. It's just the fact that they need a little bit of camaraderie, a little teamwork. Especially when you're dealing with these new generations where they want to feel that sense of accomplishment, purpose, what have you. So when you have your list and you say, hey, you and you are going to work on this unit, this is my floater person who's going to go down to each and every one of these people, helping them out. Usually it's your newly promoted non-commissioned officer. That's who you throw in there, who's going to learn the aspects of being a supervisor, which is a glorious time to start doing this. There are very few times in your young NCO career where you get a chance to lead troops, be there in the front lines with them, in the trenches, if you will, where you're there actually able to mentor them, do some nurturing, actually get to learn what it's like to be a supervisor. So when the time comes where you get to sign off maintenance or inspection jobs, you have already done it. And that's the thing right there. It's so primed to do, and it's a lost art of training, and you have to train within the work environment, which is they call on-the-job training. So you got to get your OJT in there, and that's where you get those OJTs. You get people in there. So same thing, the action. Hey guys, this is what the units we have for the week. This is what we're gonna do. And if you guys get those done by this said time, you need to know we are gonna follow through with our promise. So action. Get these said units done based on the people we have that we got. Perfect. Then, the impact. The impact is, look guys, we're ahead. It is Monday. We're now getting things checked over, and it's Wednesday? Holy cow, Thursday we're done? Whoa, even things that are broken, we identify it, we order it. If it's not a game changer or a setback, we move on. Now the result? Alright guys, let's go work on some maintenance, the things you all want to do. A lot of the guys want to work on maintenance. They think they go to inspectors, their career is there to set idle. It's not to set idle. It's everyone's going to get a chance to touch maintenance and all those things. Then we come back to inspections, clean up the shop, do those things we have to do in order to say, look, we're 100% in the good. And that is the biggest thing that they go, wow, we are actually at 100%. That's how you can achieve that when you're working in these work centers. But you got to come through and tell them these things and say, look, we're going to have some hard times. But this is also to become effective and efficient in doing these. Once your troops buy into this, the first week will be absolutely rough because there is a consequence if you don't get this done. Hey guys, we can work 12 hours or they can come out on Saturday if we don't get these done because we have deadlines. Well, what if we don't make the deadline? Well then, guess what we're doing Friday? We're going to close up shop early. We're going to go bowling. We're going to go home early. We're going to do something. Give back your time. That's the whole point. We do everything 100% and all is great. Our quality assurance reports, the QA comes in and says, here's this inspection, and it passes. And we're still doing what we're doing and we're getting ahead. Before you know it, you'll be 2 weeks into the month and you will be ahead, completely current, done within 2 weeks. Isn't that crazy? It can be done, but everyone has to work together. And that's including your swing shift, your night shift, day shift, all have to be pulling their weight. And once one shift, it's particularly the day shift, gets ahead, then they can start working on some of the straggler stuff that the off shifts did not get to, because we give these off shifts these sense of accomplishments they can do, and it does not go unnoticed. None of this goes unnoticed when our guys are working their asses off getting that going. And that's what makes it so exciting to watch, this sense of pride and thrill, because they think they're going to do one section, they're going to stick there and stay there and go to rot. Not true. Everyone's pulling apart, so when people rotate, they get to feel the fruits of the labor, the benefits of it. And other offshifts can take care of themselves too, and that is the big thing. We empower them. Take care of your people in the best way you humanly can. It's your call. Now, what does all this mean? This is literally the blueprint, the foundational blocks to have a strong inspection and maintenance section to run in a synergistic approach. Because you also have your driving section too. They are a different set of worms, but you tap into them. Give them sense of accomplishment, stuff they can do to say, hey, I'm contributing too. When everyone is contributing, then we can say those words we do at end of day Fridays or the commander's calls and say, every one of you is doing everything we can to get here. It's not just one section stressing and busting each other apart. And that's the last thing we want, is a bunch of people get petty. Just remember, no more, no less. We live week to week in these inspections and maintenances. And that's what makes it so dynamic, and it's such a very interesting thing to see done. It has been something I've had done in previous bases when I ran inspection sections to get this. It takes a little bit of forming, a lot of storming, sometimes restorming, a lot of reforming. But once people start norming and conforming, man, the execution plan is on point. Some people think I'm crazy, but I'm all about, here's our list, let's get it done. We know what we're gonna do. And when you see people working, don't distract them. They're on a roll, don't mess them up. They're taking this job seriously. You should support them in taking it seriously. There's time for fun, there's time for jokes, and there's time to be super serious and dead on. Sometimes it has to be scathing. Sometimes it just has to be that way. And unfortunately, some feelings will get hurt. And that is part of life. Feelings will get hurt. You can build these dudes up, terrorize them when it comes to getting it done. The trauma will build them. They will know, dang, I don't want to come on Saturday. I don't want to work 12 hours. You know, I can work diligently at my break. I can take the things I need. And that is the foundation of getting these people to work and get them to do what you need. Your troops, they will follow you. And I've been through troops with this when I worked there on the floor with them. knowing that you can do this. And it's a sense of accomplishment. So when you write yourself an awards package, you didn't just do one thing, you touched all sections, the action, the impact, the result of the fruits of your labors that you've done. So hopefully in this entire time that you stayed listening to this entire rant that may be crazy to everyone, that is the quick, quintessential foundation of running a good section. Yes, there are times you want to really, spike the football, but you can't. It's like my Bengals in the Super Bowl. You can't rest on your laurels when you're up 10 in the fourth quarter. You gotta follow it all the way through. And your troops will see it. They definitely will. And if you have frustrations, swallow, smile, breathe in, and go, yeah, you know what? It just be that way. Some days are more stressful than others, but the stress in the end, in theory, all theory, will pay off. You're going to have your challenges, don't get me wrong. You will find days, months, and weeks that will challenge this exact system. It's up to you. Maintain, keep going, be flexible. That's the most bottom line out of every single bit of this. If you get anything out of all this, be flexible, for crying out loud. If you're not flexible, you're just going to be rigid and it's going to be painful. Not to go without being said, pain will happen. And you'll be a badass. Your section will be badass to the point you walk out and you're like, it's nice. You feel the air, it's crisp, it's cooler, it's cleaner, and it feels nice and relaxing outside. Listen, you can do this. Go forth, prosper. Don't be afraid to succeed. You can do this. All right, signing off.